Welcome back, Warner fam. Today, I'm diving into a 2015 drama thriller called DeLeerling. So keep your eyes wide open and stay safe because this one's intense. The movie starts with Lana, a 40-year-old teacher. She has a family, her husband, and a young daughter, and everything seems perfect. But beneath the surface, things are about to get complicated. Lana teaches high school students, and one day she decides to give them a surprise test. She tells everyone to do their best and explains the instructions carefully. When the test begins, she's surprised to see a new student, Benny, sitting silently. He doesn't even touch his paper. Instead, he just stares at her with a look that's unsettling. It's as if he's completely infatuated with her. Lana notices this, but she says nothing. She just walks away, trying to stay focused. After school, she picks up her daughter, only to spot Benny again. He's there, watching her. This time, the tension in the air feels even thicker. What's going on with Benny, and why does Lana feel so uneasy? Keep watching, because things are about to get really intense. The next day, a student stood up to give a short presentation, but two arrogant girls in the back were too busy giggling and playing on their phones. Lana tried to stay calm, but she couldn't ignore the distraction. She told them to put their phones away and pay attention, but they just kept laughing and making noise, like they didn't care at all. Lana had had enough. She walked over to them and told them to hand over their phones. One of the girls reluctantly handed hers over, but then stormed out of the room, swearing at Lana as she left. The class burst into laughter, but Benny, the new kid, wasn't amused. He looked furious, like something had snapped inside him. The tension in the room felt thick. Something was definitely off. That same day, while Lana was having some tea, she saw something troubling. The girl who had sworn at her earlier was being bullied by a boy. That boy was Benny. He tossed her bag onto the floor and even took her bike. It was clear that he was getting back at her for making fun of their teacher. Lana was confused. Why would Benny do something like this? She didn't understand what was going on inside his mind. So, to figure it out, she decided to talk to him alone. She called him into a secluded room for a one-on-one chat. But as soon as Benny walked in, the air between them grew tense. It felt awkward, like they were both trapped in a room with questions they didn't want to ask. The silence was heavy. Something wasn't right. To break the ice, Lana asked Benny if he was enjoying his new school, but instead of answering, he shot back with a question of his own. "What do you want from me?" Lana felt the tension rise, but she tried to stay calm. She explained that all she cared about was her student's success. She also told him she didn't like how he was treating his classmates. As Lana spoke, she accidentally brushed her hand against Benny's knee. Benny's eyes widened, and he misunderstood the gesture. He thought she liked him. Lana, unaware of his thoughts, asked if he needed any help from her. Benny's response was quick. "I can't help you." Then he smiled in a way that made Lana feel even more uncomfortable. He looked at her and asked, "Are we done for the day?" Lana nodded, feeling the awkwardness settle like a thick fog, and quickly left the room. She couldn't shake the strange, unsettling feeling from their conversation. In the afternoon, Lana sat at home, checking the student exam results on her laptop. As she went through the papers, she came across Benny's report. To her surprise, his grades were much lower than the other students. This worried her. She began wondering how she could help him improve, but just then, her daughter walked in, and Lana quickly shut her laptop, trying to hide what she had been looking at. The next day, Lana decided to focus on her teaching and not on Benny. She went to her classes like usual, sticking to her routine. As the evening came, she was about to leave when something caught her eye. Benny's bag was lying on the floor. Without thinking, she opened it, pulled out his t-shirt, and, to everyone's shock, sniffed it deeply, almost like a pirate smelling treasure. This strange moment revealed something that Lana hadn't fully realized yet. She was starting to like Benny, but how far was she willing to go with this feeling? The tension between them was only growing. She couldn't stop thinking about him. The thought of Benny was always in her mind, like a shadow she couldn't shake. Later, when she heard someone approaching, she quickly stuffed the shirt in her bag and hurried to the restroom. But to her shock, Benny appeared out of nowhere, standing right behind her. He moved closer, and before she could react, he started touching her in ways that made her heart race with fear. Lana tried to push him away, telling him this was wrong, but Benny didn't listen. His actions became more daring, and he even licked her neck. For a brief moment, it seemed like Lana was on the edge of giving in, but then she remembered her family. She snapped back to reality, the weight of her loved ones pulling her back from the brink. With all the strength she could muster, Lana pushed him away and warned him that it would never happen again. She told him that if he tried anything like that again, he could throw her out. As she walked away, Benny's words echoed in her mind. "You want me too." Lana turned around and replied coldly, "I can't have feelings for my students. You're all underage." But deep down, her heart betrayed her. She knew, despite everything, that she had fallen for him. That night, as she lay in bed, the memory of what happened in the bathroom haunted her. She couldn't stop thinking about it. The next day at school, school, Lana did her best to stay focused on her work. She gave all the students some classwork to do, hoping to keep them busy, but Benny wasn't paying attention. He just kept staring at her, as if nothing else mattered. Lana tried to gesture for him to focus, hoping he would get the hint, but Benny didn't seem to care. After class, Benny approached her and made an unexpected offer. He suggested that they could go on a date and talk about their feelings for each other. Lana was shocked. She immediately shook her head and said no. She told him firmly that whatever had happened between them was a mistake. It would never happen again. There was no room for this in her life. She had to put a stop to it, once and for all. That afternoon, Lana walked into the parking lot and stopped in her tracks. Her car had been vandalized, scratches on the door and the rearview mirror broken. She looked around but saw no one. In her gut, she knew it was Benny. Later that day, as Lana was planting flowers in the garden, her husband approached her, his eyes on her car. "What happened to your car?" he asked. Lana felt a knot form in her stomach. She quickly lied, saying she had gotten too close to a light pole. Her husband raised an eyebrow. "A light pole? That could cause this big of a scratch?" But Lana stuck to her story. "Yes, it was a lamppost," she insisted. The truth weighed heavily on her, but she couldn't bring herself to tell her husband what really happened. She didn't want to lose her happy little family. The secret felt like a burden she could no longer carry. The next day in class, Lana gave her students another assignment. This time, they had to write a cover letter to see if they were qualified enough for a job. She asked if anyone had any questions, and Benny raised his hand. With a smirk, Benny asked if it was necessary to go to any lengths to get a job, hinting at something more than just the assignment. The entire class erupted in laughter, and Lana's face turned red with anger. She tried to keep her cool, but snapped. "Go to the principal's office," she ordered Benny, trying to maintain control. But Benny didn't back down. Instead, he asked if Lana was happy to go above and beyond for her job, making his joke even more pointed. Fuming, Lana grabbed her bag and stormed out of the classroom. She turned to Benny and yelled, "Get out!" But the students didn't support her. They rallied behind Benny. One student even threw a duster at the blackboard, narrowly missing Lana. Frustrated and defeated, Lana walked out of the class, her heart heavy with the chaos she couldn't control. One day at home, Lana was reading a book to her daughter when the phone suddenly rang. She picked it up, but no one spoke from the other end. The silence stretched on, and after a few moments, Lana realized it was Benny. Her heart sank as she made the connection. Deciding she had enough, Lana turned off the phone and went back to reading the book to her daughter, trying to push the uneasy feeling away. The next day, as she arrived at school, Lana saw Benny waiting outside. A wave of anxiety rushed over her, and she quickly decided not to go in. Pretending to be sick, she called in and took the day off. Even the next day, Lana stayed away from school. She parked her car by the river, enjoying a quiet moment with an apple in hand. She needed to clear her mind, so she decided to visit the museum. For a brief time, she felt at ease, wandering through the exhibits. But suddenly, she spotted him. Benny was there, watching her from across the room. It was clear now, he had been following her. Panic gripped Lana's chest, and she tried to escape the museum. But as she rushed for the door, she found herself trapped in the elevator with Benny. The walls closed in around her as she realized there was no way out. Now, with the woman of his dreams standing right in front of him, Benny slowly began to touch and bump into Lana. He did it in a way that made Lana's heart race, and she couldn't control her emotions. Unable to stop herself, Lana leaned in, trying to kiss him. But each time she moved forward, Benny pulled back just enough to keep her at a distance. It was as if he was teasing her, and Lana couldn't understand why he was doing this. She was confused, caught in the emotional whirlwind he had created. The next day, Lana finally went back to school, but instead of heading to class like usual, she snuck into the staff room. There, she grabbed the upcoming exam paper and slipped it inside Benny's coat. Lana's heart raced as she thought about how this plan would finally get rid of him. At lunchtime, while the students were eating in the cafeteria, Lana calmly sipped tea with the other teachers. Everything was going just as she planned. Soon enough, Benny was stopped by the security guards and expelled from school for stealing the exam papers. Lana couldn't help but feel a sense of relief. She was happy that Benny wouldn't be able to bother her anymore. After a few days, Lana found herself missing Benny. She couldn't stop thinking about the way he touched her in the bathroom and the elevator. She remembered his seductive gaze and how handsome he was. One evening, while at home, Lana heard a loud bang on the door. She quickly checked, but it was just the wind. Still, her mind wandered, and she started having fantasies about being with Benny. Her husband noticed her strange behavior and asked if she was starting to feel paranoid. But Lana wasn't sure how to explain the whirlwind of thoughts and feelings inside her. The next day, Lana skipped school again. This time, she drove straight to Benny's house. Her heart raced as she parked a little way from his place and watched him ride his scooter. Lana couldn't stop herself. She drove up close and accidentally hit the back of Benny's scooter. He lost his balance and fell, hitting his head hard on the asphalt. The night before, Lana had dreamed about Benny, but now, in reality, she had put him in serious danger. The movie ends with Lana quickly getting out of her car, rushing to check on Benny. Her heart pounded in her chest as she wondered if he was okay. She knelt beside him, hoping she hadn't made things worse. What do you think Lana's true feelings for Benny are? Let us know in the comments. So if you liked this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications for more recaps. Thanks for watching. See you next time on Warner Movie Recaps.